Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A. And now onto the show.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I am so happy sitting here right now. I have to say that because I know my viewers at this point are probably understanding previous lives or know something because we do discuss it. But I absolutely, and I've never said this before, everybody in this studio I feel that I have known from another lifetime. I mean, everyone. So anybody that wants to talk about it, my show is on gratitude and we'll continue with that. But so please call in or anything on a previous life. I am so there right now. I feel so comfortable with everyone in the studio here. Call in 888-994-4995. If you have any questions for me, please call in. So far, we have a lovely studio audience, so I'm welcoming you all to ask me a question, previous lives, or whatever you want. It is on actually gratitude too. So my guest today is Alicia, and I have a wonderful studio audience. Priscilla, thank you for coming. Steve, my husband, Jay, and Dawn. What more could I ask for? So here we go.
I have a quick question. I'm sure you've answered this before in other shows, but because, you know, I call you Sally, but where does Zena come from?
Well, I love that question. Thank you for asking me that. I was actually, because what happened for people, my viewers probably know by now my story, but I astral project a lot. So I had no idea what was happening to me. But at that point, someone had said to me, call yourself Zena. I'm going to sneeze. Or cough. That means validation, which we were just talking about, okay? So they actually gave me the message. I mean, it's confusing because my name is Sally, but they told me to call myself Zena. I do believe, and I do have a following of my studio owners, so they probably understand when I talk about my higher self. My higher self is called Zena. So I feel more comfortable, and my book is coming out, and I have a book out called Call Me Zena, and I believe that's what they wanted me to call myself when I'm like on the show. But when you know me as friends, I'm Sally. So I was given that message, Alicia, to answer your question in a very roundabout way.
And anybody else have a question before I go? Because I will ask a million questions.
Please do. That's what you're sitting here for. You're my very good friend. You're here to ask me questions.
It is so nice.
I love having you here.
Yeah, and Zena, Sally, Zena, Zena. Call me Zena. It's written all over the show.
You could actually call me whatever you want, Alicia.
Don't call you late for dinner.
Yeah, we were relatives in another lifetime for sure.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if the audience members know this, but I always call you my daughter.
I know you do. And there's a little age difference. Obviously, you're a lot younger than me, and I call you my granddaughter. But that doesn't matter because actually the show maybe should be on previous lives because I feel we're all very comfortable talking about that. You were definitely... you were my granddaughter. I think now at this point I was your daughter because it's many lifetimes. So we're actually pulling from another lifetime, Alicia. We hit it. We actually it was like a connection right away, right?
Well, the thing is that Sally. No, I don't know what
it doesn't
to call
matter.
You.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Okay, pretty girl, daughter. I'll call you my daughter because look at that smile. She's so sweet. But
oh my God,
I saw your show before I even met you, and I thought, wow, who's this girl? First of all, she's British, yeah. and if you've got an English accent, darling, I'm just jumping.
I love it.
So I am grateful for that because the theme is today about gratitude. So thank you,
yes.
thank you so much.
And thank you. You know, that really touched my heart because you had listened to me before you actually met me. When you said you were so happy to meet me, we had that instant connection. But that's more at work when we had that instant connection because can you feel that it's not about religion, it's not about anything, it's just to believe. And I truly believe we've had many lifetimes. We were definitely connected in another lifetime. And I'm not saying don't be religious, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. You know that, and you know that about me too.
And that's what I love about you because when I first met you, I explained I'm a Christian. So for me, some things, but I can make sense of it from what you say with my belief system.
And I totally respect that, Alicia. That's why we've connected, because as long as we believe, it doesn't matter. There's a higher power, God, whatever we want to believe in, there is something greater than ourselves. And that's the most important message that I want to give.
And that's humility.
Absolutely.
To know
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's humility to
Yeah.
know, to have all that.
Is your mic on? I hope so. Okay. Thank you, Freddie.
So thank you. Thank you, Sally.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you for everyone coming here right now, because we're right at the right place at the right time. Definitely. And thank you, Priscilla.
Speaking of the right time, the right place at the right time, we met almost 25 years ago
We did.
through business.
Can I just explain that you are my husband so that they know
You
for
can
new
if you want
viewers?
to, if it's important to you.
Well, because we may have new viewers.
I was going to get to that.
Okay, sorry.
But
Oh, you can tell we're husband and wife.
so
Okay.
then we met 12 years later, and we tried dating for a while, and we weren't ready. Then we met 10 years later, and it brings us to today, almost married 2 years. So what do you suppose was at work bringing us together 3 times and making it work this
I have
time?
one word right in front of me, karma. Okay, we've known each other for many lifetimes also. We don't bring that up in our conversation, Steve. But we are working through a karma right now, and that's a good thing. So unfortunately, if our viewers know that you're just recovering and you are now cancer-free, but within 9 months you had cancer. I was your caretaker. That was something I had to learn. It's also something that from the past that you had to accept the way that I was when I was looking after you, because I will say this out loud, I am not a caretaker, but it was something, and I hope that I did the best that I could for you, and you have recovered, thank whatever religion or whatever you are, thank God. We'll say God because it's God's source.
And thank you for all you did.
And you're welcome. But
You know,
it was a
yes.
karma that we needed to work through. It's not been easy. We'd only been married 9 months and you were given that diagnosis. And on top of it, my daughter had just died from brain cancer. But just to tell our viewers out there, there is so much at work. I could have sat here and said, you know, of course, I'm devastated about my daughter, but because of my belief system, I was able to look after the best way that I could with you, going through a similar situation where I couldn't help my daughter. But I have no regrets of the way that how I was with her, because she totally, I'm sure, believed that there was more as she was dying, because I was watching her dying. And here I'm going through a similar situation, but because your cancer happened to be in a different place than my daughter's, I was able to see that we could recover. But we all choose, I truly believe this, and I don't want to offend anybody this way, that when our time is up, we go. We have a few exit places. It may not be that time, it could be another time. But it helped me understand more. I couldn't do for my daughter, and this is just coming to me, what I could do for you to bring you back, because you are 100% cancer-free today. We had no idea where this conversation was going, but it's so important. So for the viewers out there, if you have someone, and a caretaker is not easy, it's not easy at all, but if they actually transition, I'm not going to say pass, because I truly believe there is so much more when we transition. That was their time. If they choose not to, appreciate all the time that you have together, because we have actually pre-planned this, although it's hard to understand, and that would be another show, but it wasn't your time to go. It was my time, it was my daughter's time to go. But I accept both. I absolutely accept both. You know, I don't know what we're going to be talking about, so this is definitely coming to me to explain
Do you
this.
believe that your daughter Louise gave you messages and tips on how to care for me and how to protect yourself?
I think there was a number of people. I think she was in the background there too, absolutely. And as for my viewers, if you don't mind me mentioning, you had also lost a son. And that brought us together. I mean, you think about that. They were both young. In today's world, we can live to 90 or 100 sometimes. So they had passed before their time. But I truly, truly feel that they were together, and they are now together. Can I prove any of this? Absolutely no. But I can prove by giving people names to people, things that I couldn't possibly know. So to me, this has been validation of my life, of what's happened. I'm suddenly an artist because I'm given messages. So yes, I think everything that we're doing, you know, sometimes we're going, oh my gosh, there's so much happening in the life today, in our lives today. Not just us, anybody out there. The whole world is going crazy. But there is a purpose. And as long as you can pay, I know it's a little off the subject, but if you can keep that positive attitude, that's what's so important, because it's raising a vibrational energy. We met at a time, we'd only been married a few months and we really hadn't got to know each other, and here you have the same diagnosis. But nothing, I don't want to say coincidence, because when you're sick you don't say, oh my gosh, did I choose this? But nothing is by coincidence in my world.
And I firmly...
And thank you, Priscilla. I see you relating very much to this. Alicia knows me, and you at this point know me too. So thank you.
I firmly believe that because of who you are and what you represent, my time with cancer was relatively short compared to other sufferers.
Well, I don't, you know, that makes me want to cry, because it's not me, it's a consciousness, and it's your time. But I think, although, and I will say this absolutely on the air, I didn't say, oh, Steve, crying or whatever you were going through, because I was going to lower my vibration. And I will say this on the air, I had to keep my vibration higher. So had I have lowered my vibration to what you were going through, which, you know, is, I'm feeling it, I knew I had to keep that positivity and tell you, that's all I was able to do. You will be all right. Okay,
and you know what?
That's
so
important.
Yes, and that is the spiritual war.
Absolutely, absolutely, because I believe very much in energy, because we are energy. So if you raise that vibration, yes, you're going to have negativity or whatever you want to call it to lower that. But as long as you can be true to yourself, Alicia, and I know you understand that, and keep that high, it's going to help. Whatever, be an illness, whatever it is, it will help that other person. Obviously, you're going to feel bad because you're feeling bad. But had I have lowered that vibration, I'm not giving my credit for the fact that you got better quick, but I hope I helped in that journey. That's all I can say.
And you did, and I am
you.
grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you
guys.
for being a fighter, and you too. Thank you for being a fighter and having to swallow this and go through the motions. And thank you for being there to give him that energy that he needed. And that's not easy.
It wasn't easy at all, and I don't often talk about this, but I knew that, I mean, obviously when you're going through this, you probably don't, as you had said, I don't want to hear all this. But I was able to hold that energy for both of us. Mm-hmm. That took a lot out of me, a tremendous amount. For any caregivers out there, I totally relate, absolutely 100% what you're going through. It's not easy, but had I have sunk to that level, and when you are feeling terrible pain, in fact, I actually, because I'm an empath, I actually got a similar, nothing wrong with me, but you know that I had received, unfortunately, but it's okay, a similar situation to what you were going through. I don't even think I want to express it on the air, but I was getting a lump, so to speak, in the same place that you were, but I knew I was all right. So I'm taking that, but it's not easy. That happened to me, and I hope it doesn't happen to other people, but I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I had to keep that higher vibrational energy.
But I think it does happen to other people, whether they're caregivers or not.
Speak into your mics, Priscilla, we can't hear.
Whether they're caregivers or not, it depends on who you're around and why you're around them. I think it was part of you to give him that energy, that positivity, and to lift him up. And that's part of your spirit and who you are, because someone else may have drug him further down.
Exactly what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, I'm going to say it was, because I believe we choose our lives, but we have free will, so we can change that. But I had said to him, I wasn't probably the best person, so to speak, because I didn't cry with him. Or I'm not saying you cried, but I had to keep that higher energy. But probably, I know that probably, and you had said to me, I might have been the best person, but also not for the comfort, I wasn't the best person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I had to
interesting
keep
that you
that
said the word
vibrational energy.
Energy. That's
Energy,
the second
because
time
we
you said
are
the word
energy.
energy.
So
Yes.
if I didn't have that energy, how could I help him? I knew with the energy, by keeping it raised, I could help him get better. So,
And if
it
anyone
taught me
wants
a
to know
lot.
where that energy comes from, please read Sally's book, Call Me Zena. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen,
Thank you.
which will take you to Author House, or you can go to Amazon and go to Call Me Zena, and the book will be there.
Thank you, because it explains. I have another actually book coming out, but this is all about what had actually happened to me, for me to even open up with this conversation. Because this was about 20 years ago today. I would not have been able to do that. Had you, we knew each other 20 years ago. You were well, but had I have met you, I would not have had what I know today, because I've worked at it. It's not easy, but it's worth the work.
And she was always a cute little thing, wasn't she?
Always.
Yeah, I can just see that. Oh my gosh, you must have
with
charmed
lots of energy.
with lots of energy and just
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you.
She was like a little fairy, right? Right?
Well, fairies is something, and Dawn, I don't think she's in the studio. Well, she's in the studio, but not here right now. We relate very much to fairies, too. So
Oh,
we
dear.
were all fairies. Okay. Hi, Jay. Hi. Can we say a little bit about what actually happened with you? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Do you want to sit here? Why don't we trade?
No, it's okay, Alicia.
Okay, there's a camera there.
Is there a camera?
I think this works. No, it's not hooked up.
Oh, okay.
But I can just grab the mic here.
We were just sitting in the studio because we do have a show together on Friday, In the Mind of an Artist, and we were talking, and I said to you, out of the blue, I think I know who you were in a previous life. So I give you a name, because I don't remember, because I'm in some sort of different dimension right now. I give you a name of someone,
Right.
and Google is great to look things up, not with illness, but with things like this, okay? So I give you a name, and we look it up, and I said, yes, that's who we're talking about. The last name is very similar to me, so that was complete validation. We were talking about another lifetime not so long ago from here, and we were mentioning things, so we went deeper into the person. Please talk more, because he was a pencil artist,
Right.
as you are
Well,
too.
this particular individual was from France, and he lived during the period of the artwork that I love to do, the Art Nouveau
Pencil.
art, and he was very accomplished in this. I found they just made a movie about him last year in France, and hopefully it'll be released in the United States. And I don't know. I found a real relationship.
But the connection was basically because you are a pencil artist.
Right, and
The
he
person-
started as a pencil
He started
artist.
as a pencil artist. Is
That's
that
what he
not
did.
validation?
That's a movie right
Yeah,
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
And I've done,
like-
not about me, and you know I have
Yeah.
very little ego with this, but we get validated that
But
way.
you know, he
absolutely.
lived at that period, and I found out that he passed away just 5 years before I was born.
And what did he pass away from?
I don't think we found
I'm-
that out.
Not really sure.
Okay, but no, because sometimes let's say I'm just giving an example. He got shot in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have-
You can find, yeah, I know where you're going with this, but I don't think so. I don't know, but he was quite well known in France.
Oh, very well known in
And
France.
Out of the
yeah.
blue, I give you his name. How do I know? I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's,
I mean,
it's
he
not
was
me,
a-
but we can all do this.
Right. He was a contemporary of the French artists of the day.
Right.
And he was very well known with them. So,
So what I just to say how grateful I am that happened, Jay, because I know that you'll begin. If you don't mind me saying, I know you're beginning this journey, and that validation opens you up to so much more. I mean, yes, we have religious beliefs. We have It's okay. That's fine as long as you believe. But it opens your mind up to
Right.
a little bit more of what could be
well,
happening. and
you know,
is
to
happening.
take this, a step back. what the viewers probably don't know is that I lost my wife to cancer in February. And since then, I have been really changing. I guess I've gone in a whole different direction. My mind has been opened up to so many things now. And I see things differently than I ever have in my whole life.
That's amazing. And just to let our viewers know that we do have a show which we both co-host on a Friday. I did not know you. We met each other here in the cafe,
Right.
but there's so much similarity here. And I'm able to give you a name of somebody. So it's not just about us. It's about everybody that's listening, that it's not coincidence that you're tuning into this show. There is so much more.
Right.
So much more.
Right.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Wow.
My interviewer.
There's so much. Yeah, my interviewer. But wait, there's more. No, just for everything that you're seeing, and that we're living in this time, that time is going fast, that so much is happening in this world. Everybody's connected. You know, if you're not connected through the internet or through some kind of social media, we're connected through intuition. You know, there's those forces that are coming, and energy, because I think we're all, like you said earlier,
all energy,
we're all energy. And that's the basic principles of physics is energy. We're all based on energy.
And I love to hear you say that, because again, we can be religious, we can be anything, it doesn't matter, but just know that there is so much more. And you know, sometimes when we get caught up with our own beliefs, sometimes we go beyond, not being able to open up more to what that is. But I respect you so much, because I know where you're coming from, Alicia. But you keep that open. All it is about an open mind.
Well, I think that God is so outside. I call it God. God is so outside the box that why would we put God in the box? Listen, I follow the principles of the Bible. That's just who I am. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. But there's so much that has not yet been revealed to us, that's been hidden from us. There's even parts of the Bible that has been hidden from us that we don't know about.
And I love that, because I know, you know, I'm not here to knock any religion, but organized religion, it's good to keep, just all I want to say on that, because I'm not going to go into that subject, just keep an open mind to know that there is a power greater than ourselves. Christ consciousness, God source, it doesn't matter whatever we call it. There is something, we can all do what I'm doing. It's just to open up to that. So whatever we want to believe, that's okay too, but just believe, that's what's so important.
And it's so simple. It's
so
called
simple.
The leap of faith.
Absolutely.
Is to believe.
Absolutely.
You know,
I mean,
and it's very simple.
We hit it off right away, because
and
that's why, you know.
And something like, you know, I'm sorry. Okay, life gives us that SHIT word.
Okay.
And God makes it into Beshert.
Which is Jewish.
Beshert is Jewish for meant to be.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
We go through that Shih Tzu stuff.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yes.
And then God makes it into Beshert.
Absolutely.
And you know what? And that is a wonderful concept to understand. It's something so simple, because in the end, everything is really quite simple.
It's so simple, and I say that to people. We complicate it because we don't want to see beyond what we see. There is so much more to see beyond what we see. And we connect. As I did with you, Priscilla, we didn't know each other. We met each other here, but you came
You
here.
remember what we talked about the very
We did,
first time?
because there's no coincidences. And it's just, I wouldn't change the way that I feel for anything. And I can't change people, and I know that too. So if someone isn't ready, that's okay too. But for the ones that are ready, join us.
You know,
because it's
Priscilla, I'm
beautiful.
looking at you. It looks like she has a lot to say.
She does.
Go
Please, please talk to
You
me and
know,
ask
it's
me a question.
interesting that you said the word gratitude, and I didn't know we were going to talk about gratitude. But when we
Talking to your mic a little bit. Just
when we initially met, we talked about transformation and older people, and we talked about women quite a bit. But let's just leave it to gratitude right now. Gratitude is actually one of the principles of intentional transformation.
absolutely.
And let's just talk about gratitude for a moment, because we should all be grateful that, like you were saying, grateful for her, grateful that you're still alive, grateful that you're here, grateful that, call me Zena, that you're here, that I didn't know that you were going to be here, and I love you. I love your husband.
You love my husband?
Yes, I love your husband. He is so talented. And when I
Thank you.
realized that everything, I don't know if you've been to her home.
No, we
Zena?
really just meet here, but we become so
Yeah.
close.
No,
I mean,
but we have to. I have
unbelievably.
to have you guys over.
But I learned that everything on their wall, everything that they've done is magnificent as far as the artwork and the thought process and everything that goes into it. They're such a talented couple, and the more we talked, the more you kept bringing out what he does. I don't know if you remember that,
Oh,
but you
really?
kept saying, yeah.
I probably, because he's a little bit timid, he's shy, so I wanted you to see, oh, but wait, there's more, just
But
this
you see
and
how
this
this
and
works. You're here as a guest. You came here. You guys, I didn't know you knew each other. But
Yeah.
this is what
Isn't that
I've
great?
the
been to her
message
home,
is.
and
This is the
there's all
message.
of these things and all
Well,
this
it's
talent.
so good to keep your open mind because we meet who we're meant to meet when we meet them.
I think so.
You guys are both in the studio here, and I'm not changing the subject anyway because it's related to what you're talking about. For me, just sitting here, I see that. I asked, do you want to sit here? I would have had you here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we are. We're all in the same. Jay, I got your guide. My husband here, who's not recovering, you are a recovered survivor of cancer today. So it's all so important, this message for viewers out there that have come. Nobody's calling in today. Come on, Marita too, I know you're listening. Let's get some questions.
But there's 4 of us. There's 5 of us.
That's all
here.
right too.
So,
But
and we
I
are
have
talkers.
a friend in Melbourne
And we're
who always
talkers.
calls in.
And we're-
Yeah.
And back to what you're saying about the gratitude, it's so important. And I've heard very important things
And he
about
should be so grateful for you because you're not timid at all. And even with you being here, that lets me know that you're not too timid. But she kept bringing out more and more and more of what he does. And I had no idea that things on the wall is what they made together. And they're so talented. And so she kept
Thank
saying
you.
the different things that, the different things that
I
you all
think
do.
we have to break,
Yeah, it was
not to interrupt you,
absolutely-
but a commercial break.
Oh,
Okay, so
okay.
here we go. Okay, I always say we'll be back on the other side, but I want to say of this show, not the other side. I always say that. That's becoming to me.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
My story starts at 4 or 5 years old. My name is Sally Bernard, and I was born at the end of the Second World War, in the middle of an air raid siren going off. My parents were in a movie theater, and my mother went into labor. My father ran out of the movie theater, but there was no cabs to be available because everybody is running for cover. However, they found one, and the taxi driver was given the address to take my father and my mother to the hospital. As my mother was in labor, about a half an hour, I arrived at exactly midnight. I think I was fed messages at a very early age. My parents used to like to play cards, and they had a card game every Wednesday or Thursday night at home when I was was a baby. And I actually said to them one day, why do you keep waking me up at night? The card game is waking me up and I can't get back to sleep so quickly. And they looked at each other and they said, we're not really waking her up. They were quite away from my bedroom. And they called in a psychic to say what in the world is going on. And the psychic said that I'm getting many messages that are waking me up at night. I thought whatever I was experiencing, other people were experiencing too. You don't know until you realize that you are different. Many things were happening to me, things that were unexplainable to me. What I had dreamt was happening. I could sense many things, and the things that I was sensing were coming about, but something was going on. I will explain to you everything. You're ready. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book at authorhouseandamazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, we're back. My interview has disappeared. Alicia, we're back on the air. She probably thinks I only have a half an hour. She's coming. We'll wait for her, but in the interim,
bring up something Alicia was talking about. To bring something up that Alicia was talking about, and not to make this a religious show, but I believe that God doesn't care where you worship as long as you do, and I believe that more strongly in a higher power as opposed to an absolute God, and it has gotten me through a lot of things, but I just wanted to get that out. But I wanted to ask you something.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, you're welcome. You were told to pick up crayons and draw, and recently I found out who that person was, and it's a very good friend of yours,
Yeah.
Marita.
Right.
Could you explain how that happened?
Okay, because the two people, if my viewers know anything about astral projection, that's what's happening. I was leaving my body, but I had no idea what was happening to me the very first time. But I was given a message to start drawing, and I also was given many messages that I should keep drawing, and things would come to me, so to speak, so I'd know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening, but the following day, my guide Aldo, as you know, and I've taught many, I did not know this man who came into my life and said to me, I know where you were last night. And he explained every aspect of what we call a dream. That was amazing, but it got even more amazing because the person that was telling me in my so-called dream, I didn't know who it was, came into my life a month later and told me, I was telling you to draw. In a dream. How would they know that? And I became an artist. I have 150 paintings today. I was drawing things from previous lives. These two people that were very prominent in my life in a dream, because I knew nothing about astral projection, came into my life within a couple of months of each other. I had to believe that. And people that know my story, my work, and it's not about me, it's to give this message, is very intricate. I have no idea. It comes the same way as what I'm doing now, talking. My art becomes the same way. But I'm drawing from other lifetimes. I did not know. Only Aldo, who had told me, and he explained to me over the 18 years until he passed away, what was happening to me, he's telling me, go into the internet, you're going to see some of the things that you have drawn. I had not known that. So, yes, it's an amazing story. Again, I'm just the messenger. I was able to contact with this, and that's what my important message is, that there is so much more. I must have been, and I'm sure many people out there are very stubborn about this. I must have said, don't tell me. But I couldn't deny what was happening to me.
Could you tell us about astral projections?
Well, you leave your body. It's actually, I was having it, what happened to me, I didn't know about it the very first time. It's like a dream, but it becomes a very real, a lucid dream, I believe they call it. And I can see even from 20 years ago, everything that had happened to me in my dreams. And I was going 3 times a week for nearly a year. So it's you leave your body, there is an astral plane, and that's actually a very good question because it's called astral projection. So you go beyond what we see here. It's actually all here, but we raise our consciousness, so to speak. So if you raise your consciousness, and I'm very much a believer of believing that you have to be positive no matter what happens, even a negative, turn it into a positive. You're raising that connection, you're raising that consciousness to another connection. And when you get to that level, you see more. That's all that really basically happened to me. It happens to all of us. We just don't know. But keep that positivity. And I've had so much proof. For someone that did not know about this 20 years ago, for the amazing things that have happened, part of my journey was to become psychic. Part of my journey was to become a medium. Part of my journey was to meet my guide who was here on earth, who had known me from other lifetimes and telling me what I've drawn. This is such an important message. Again, it's not about me. It's the message that I'm able to give. I can only teach by example, and that's what I try to do all the time, to teach by example. All of us have this within us. Just keep an open mind and believe. And everybody here, I know that I've been able to spread that message to you. And especially you, Alicia, because and Dawn too, we have that connection. You can't deny that. And you too, Jay.
Yes.
And now you, Priscilla, and obviously my husband, because I married him. We are connected. We are connected. We're actually, and that would be another show, but we all have a piece of what we would call a collective consciousness. And just keep it raised no matter what's happening. See the good of what could come out of that, not the negativity.
And when you first told me what happened with Aldo coming up to you at work and saying, I know where you were last night. And then, me picking up your book and reading it and getting a further explanation of what that all meant, it really brought me into your story, and I really strongly suggest that everybody read your book, and if you have any doubts at all that astral projection or anything of the supernatural is possible, you won't have any doubts after reading the book.
And thank you for bringing that up, because I had no idea I was going to make this into my very first book. There is another coming out, but it's basically in detail. I documented when I had astral projected at night. I would have between 3 and usually 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I would get up and document every single thing that happened to me. I had no idea where that was going to go.
Do you have that in the book?
Yes, I have it all in my original book, which is Call Me Zena right now. I have another one coming out, which is a follow-up. I did this one, which I have republished it now because I believe it's very important, because people don't know what's happening to them. It's not just me that did this. They say, where was I? I was lucky when I said what happened to me. Someone came up to me the next day to explain what happened to me. Not just then, I did not believe it, but I couldn't deny that he was in my dream. But it took me, and it took me a long time. I'm going to say even to today, I'm learning so much more. But at least I was having those experiences, so I had something to draw that from, to draw back into me, saying, but this happened to me. I was ready. It was my time. But everybody has that time. Why not open up now? Because it's so important with the world changing, because it is changing
And
today.
shifting.
And shifting, the shift.
Even people that are not spiritual are noticing
Are feeling it.
something
Absolutely.
is off. Yeah.
And that's why that's why I'm coming out with, I never would have said that I felt, but there's nothing wrong with being abducted, but that's okay, because they're to teach us too. I suddenly, and Dawn can verify this too, in the middle of my show, I said, I didn't know at that time, I'd been abducted many times, because it wasn't just the astral projection. They were trying to help me. And I'm not here to change, but I'm sure a lot of my viewers today understand that, because I have a following now of people that know my story. But I was abducted. They were helping me. And today, we had an experience not that long ago when you found me paralyzed, right? So it's all that, it's amazing.
Really?
But
You
yes.
found her
Do you want
paralyzed?
to explain that a little
Sure.
bit?
Sally went to sleep before me, and I heard a noise coming from the bedroom, and at first I thought it was a cat outside, and I thought maybe it was kids. But then I heard a definite scream coming from the bedroom, and I ran in there. I thought something was the matter with Sally. And at that time, she was like almost sitting up and sort of half paralyzed. And it took me about 2 minutes to bring her out of whatever was going on. And I didn't know what was going on until it was explained to me. And first I thought maybe I interrupted an astral projection, but then it was explained to me that I interrupted a possible abduction.
And just to clarify that a little bit, I think it wasn't a fearful thing. It sounds like it is because that's
Well,
the
there
first
was
time.
the abduction.
It was an abduction, but that's okay. I guess I have never screamed out as
paralysis,
far
when
as
you
I know.
say
But he
those
happened
two
to wake me
words.
up from
Yeah.
that. But I wasn't quite ready to come back, so I couldn't talk. But the good thing about, and I'm going to turn a positive into this because I'm not scared and I've never been hurt in anything that I have had happen to me. But Steve was able to see. I couldn't talk when he was trying to wake me up because I was totally paralyzed. I've never had anybody there before
That's
to see
a great
that.
way for the movie to start.
Yes,
you know?
yes, it is. So that's a validation, not even so much for me, it was a validation for Steve. You've seen a lot happen to me. I don't know that I'm paralyzed unless you wake me up. So it was validation for me. I'm not making this up.
And in scientific terms, they call it sleep
Sleep
paralysis.
yes.
Okay,
he was a
but
witness
there's
to it.
more. There's a spiritual
Yes, yes. But
yeah.
it's
And
not
it was a
scary.
very positive
Please, yeah.
a moment for me, because I believe everything that you have taught me and told me, and that was the first time though I had ever gotten to see something actually going on, and it helps me. Because when I talk to friends of mine and acquaintances about what my wife can do, sometimes they look at me as if I had.
She's Wonder Woman.
Sometimes they look at me as if I have two heads, and I explain to them I've seen this happen now. So.
But you know what I see from that? Because I've never had any, other than Aldo, who was explaining, because he knew from a child he had awakened, so he knew all his lifetimes. That was my guide who passed away. And people, my viewers by now know who Aldo Adamir in my book was. I've never had anybody wake me up in the middle of that. So I'm as surprised as you that I'm going, I couldn't talk. So I've never had that experience either. So it was good. It's
Yeah,
validation
right.
for all,
Yeah,
everybody.
at first it was very scary for me, but it turned into an amazing
It
experience, a validation
Exactly,
of
and
everything.
But you're saying abduction, so it wasn't really an abduction.
I
like,
feel that because when I
was-
say abduction, that can mean a lot of things.
Exactly.
Because I believe there's much more and there are many planets. That's just where I believe, and I believe that they visit us. But maybe unlike to some people, I believe that there is a lot of friendly aliens out there. And I want to say that because when they arrive, I'm going to tell you, I said on my show, you guys were friendly, okay? Because I really believe they're coming here to help our planet. But that's another show, but they only can interfere. We have free will, so whatever we want to do is up to us too. But I believe that we're getting many helpers from the universe to, I'm not going to say save our planet, but we're destructing, the devastation that's going on. They're going, what in the world is happening? We need to help these humans, as they call us. So don't be scared.
These Homo sapiens, these
I mean,
idiots.
but so I believe that a lot of that force that is contacting us
Yes,
today is
yes.
doing it for the good. Yes, there may be, just like in our lifetime here, because we wouldn't have this destruction if there was all good, right? So I'm not scared. I'll put that on the air. Anything that
It's
happens
different
to me, it does not
levels
scare me.
because
But they're here to help us, at least. Yeah.
depending, yes,
Yeah.
the ones probably you, because they could be angels for some other people, but you're calling it aliens, but maybe it's angels that came, and there's some also evil angels, like
It's
fallen
just like
angels
here.
or
It's
evil
the same
aliens.
thing, right?
Same thing.
But I think if I can give anybody a message out there, may have experienced something or can relate to what I'm saying, the worst thing that we can do is be fearful, because that fear brings in more fear. So whatever happens, even if it's, and that could have been scary for me too, but I knew that I had to turn a negative, and I don't know if that was a negative, into positivity, because that positivity is going to attract more positivity. So the more you say, and I often say this on my show, I'm having a bad day, it will continue to be a bad day. So say, I'm having a great day, even if you're not. It may not look a great day to you, but as long as we voice that, we're going to attract even the aliens that are positive.
That takes it to another level.
Energy begets energy.
Absolutely. It's,
Yeah.
Jay, I feel that you want to say something, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I may be wrong. I'm sorry. Perhaps you were just interested.
No, I'm hearing what you're saying here, and I understand that what you have, I think, the terminology doesn't necessarily have to be, for some people, as they understand it, doesn't necessarily have to mean aliens as we understand aliens,
Right,
because we've had all these concepts of aliens. But it could be, as you said, that it could be angels. It could be something there that's talking to us in our subconscious.
That's beautiful, and that's why I think I felt that I needed to ask you what you had to say, because, Jay, that is so important. We're getting help, no matter where it's from.
We are.
Through consciousness, from whatever it is. We
Right.
are. All we
The
have
universe is talking to us,
and you know
we
what?
need to listen.
You know what we have to do? Listen.
Right.
That's all we have to do, and be grateful that they are, whoever it is, no matter where it's coming from, God's source, whatever we want to, it doesn't matter. Just know that yes, there are other people on the other side, but that's okay too. They have to have negativity. We need balance. But just be aware that they are honestly trying to help us, no matter how we see them. Maybe they look different. Maybe it's us amongst us where we're sitting here. It doesn't matter what we look like. Maybe we are from a different planet. It doesn't matter. We just need to listen.
Right.
Thank you for that. That was important.
And we also need to be grateful.
Well, that's what the show started out with. Yes,
yes.
grateful that we are being watched. Even if you don't want to believe it, just know that we are. We have helpers out there. They don't want us to blow up this planet. Look at the devastation right now. It's horrible. But I don't want to even say that. We can make the change. Whatever is going on, one person at a time, correct?
Right.
It's like what do they call it? Like it goes on, like you
Chain
throw
reaction.
a chain reaction. If you keep that positivity in spite of what we see that is negative, raise our vibration. I am totally there. They're telling me to a higher dimension, and this will not happen. We can end it. All this devastation.
And to go with what you said before, about, I'm having a great day, instead of, sitting there saying to yourself, when you're up to your rear end in alligators, it's oftentimes difficult to remember that your initial objective was to drain the swamp. If you're not positive, you're going to be eaten by the alligators.
Well, and that's a beautiful example too, because whatever we manifest, so if we're manifesting, we are what we see. If we bring in positive vibrations, be it a person, which we've obviously realized this is happening, we're going to manifest what we put out there. Believe it or not, it doesn't matter. I've seen it happen, and so have you. So if you're going to manifest more negativity, and I'm not saying don't listen to the news, and I do it because I have to know what's going on, but I'm not fixated on the news. I just want to know what's going on, so maybe I can help. I don't know.
Right.
So the more that we see of negativity, that's how that works.
Well,
We're
and
going
it
to bring
affects
it in.
us.
It affects us,
it does,
right?
it does.
So if we raise our vibrational energy, by raising that energy, we're actually going to see much more positivity, because there are people that are positive on that higher vibration. So we attract, and this is such an important message, we attract what we're putting out. So if we're continually listening, and it's horrible what we're hearing, but what do we want to do when we hear it? We want to help. So what we can do, I can't talk to the politicians or the governments because who am I? I'm just me sitting here. But I can raise that vibration if we all get together. And maybe what's happening, we can change that by them seeing that what are we doing? We're destructing this beautiful earth. And they're planets. you don't even have to believe this, but what I feel is there are planets watching us, because what happens to us is going to affect them too. And these are people, some are a higher, some are a lower vibration, but we're actually doing terrible destruction to everything.
ourselves.
To ourselves.
To ourselves,
Absolutely.
yeah. Because I believe that the Mother Earth will always
It'll always be here. But
yeah.
Mother Earth is also an entity.
organism,
It's
yeah.
an organism.
Yes.
So if we're hurting Mother Earth has to do what Mother Earth has to do.
she's going to abort us.
She's going to have earthquakes. She's going to have heat. She's going to have fire.
Yeah.
Come on, what's happening right
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
She's trying to. I say she. I don't know if it's a she or
Well,
a he.
we're calling it
but we're
Mother
calling
Earth.
her she. Mother
Yeah.
Earth is trying to say, please wake up. You're hurting each and every one of us here.
Yeah.
Not just me. That is how we have cells inside us.
No, we
that are
have
doing-
to be good to each other. We have to be good to us so we can be
Absolutely.
good to each other.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Look at each other like children. Sometimes I do that. I'm
Yeah.
like, imagine you as a 5-year-old little girl, you as a 4-year-old kid, you as a 4-year-old little 5-year-old
No, you call me
daughter.
your daughter.
You know,
I'm
we
older.
because we in that age when we're all innocent, because that's who we are. Our core is to be, you know, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Life makes us who we are with time and experience. However, to hurt somebody else and to hurt each other, to hurt the earth, to hurt hatred, it's just demolishing. It's just demolishing.
That's such an important message, Alicia. It's so important. And that's why I believe, you know, you're sitting here because you feel the same way. Whatever our beliefs is, it doesn't matter, because it all comes down to let's help everybody. Let's put this vibrational out. I'm going to say color because it doesn't matter. Religion, it doesn't matter. We are all in this right now mess, but we can change it. And we can all become one because we are one. If we can just go back into that part of where, just awaken to maybe we're here to learn. Yes, it's not easy, but let's try and make it easier. Don't destruct and whatever happens to Earth, we will continue. Whatever happens, we will keep coming back.
Yeah, you know,
But we
yeah.
need to save the Earth as it is
as
today.
we can, so for us to have quality of life.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
nothing like a beautiful, perfect day. You know, where you know, there is such a thing, and we just have to work towards that. You know, because when I saw you and you were telling me about him, I said, "Oh, I see you on a ship. I see you going on a
She
cruise."
did say the cruise, yes, you did.
And then she asked me, "Are you a medium?" And I said, "No."
But I have to, we have to mention what happened with your sister the other day. My God,
go
this
ahead.
is amazing. Well, amazing. I get more amazed than anybody else, and I believe in this. But Aldo Adamir in my book, who passed away, always still gives me messages. But my friend actually opened my eyes to the fact. She said to me, Adamir, I'm going to call him because that's who he is in my book, keeps taking my earrings off. It's telling me he's around. After she said that, my earrings keep falling off. So I know he transitioned to the other
And
side.
that's why I didn't wear earrings today.
So the crazy, it's not crazy, but how this works. My earring, we were having dinner with your friends one night. You remember? My necklace falls off. You said to me, please give your sister, she doesn't mind me telling this. Okay.
No.
A message. I'm sitting in the studio the other day. Suddenly, nobody knows about the jewelry falling off, only me, but I'm not thinking about that. She comes back in. She was going outside, right? She said, oh, my necklace just fell off. I mean, how does that happen?
After you spoke to her.
After I spoke to her
comes
and I
back, she
gave her
goes-
this message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aldo's a jewelry thief.
But nobody knew, and I wasn't even conscious of that. But I went deep into a message that I was giving her. And, I felt like I really wanted to help her with whatever was going on. So he was telling me he was with me because he took her necklace off. It fell on the ground.
I think it's also important to point out that we're coming up on the third anniversary of Aldo's passing,
Yes.
which happens to coincide with my birthday.
Yes, absolutely.
And coincidence, I think not.
So, well, happy birthday! It's coming.
Yes.
At the end of the month.
Yeah.
But Aldo died on my birthday.
But they didn't know each other.
Right. I had
So
never
when I
met
met
him.
Steve, he told me.
But I believe that Aldo brought us back together for me to carry on and protect Sally the way he had been.
Thank
And
you.
I love, Sally, you showed me a picture of him proposing to you.
Yeah.
Oh, so sweet.
And hopefully
good
now
touch in
my
a jewelry
followers
store.
know who Adamir Aldo is. But he's still, and one of his last words were to me, please be my mouthpiece, because he knew at such a young age what was going on. I mean, he had been looking for, this story sounds so way out there.
He died
but
young?
When
He
found
died
me,
young?
He died in his early 70s. Okay. But his last message to me was, please continue my message, because he didn't want to have, he didn't want to go out on the airways. He gave me all the messages. I'm just passing on a lot because now he's not here, but he's helping me for viewers that, we all have guides. Whether you want to believe it or not, there are people wanting to help us that we don't see. Just open up, talk to them. I talk to them all the time now. Thank you. And he's here, but it's not just me. You have a guide. Every one of us has guides.
You said another word that is my word under transformation. You said no fear. You said we cannot have fear. And that's another word when you talk about transformation and intentional transformation particularly. The principles are, one of them is no fear. We cannot have fear if we're going to move forward. You cannot get stuck where you are.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess
but that it's just so important that there's no fear, that there's action behind your words, and that's just two of the principles. But there's a whole list of principles with intentional transformation. And I used to say transition, but no, it's not transition. We do need to transform ourselves and our thinking and our movement.
That's a beautiful way. I know we're coming to the end of the show, but what a beautiful way to end our show. Because if you have fear, fear brings back fear. Mm-hmm. So that was a beautiful way to end it.
And fear is false evidence appearing real.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And with that, we have to go because the time is up. Only for now, because you tune in next week.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody. I'm only as good as the question.
You're
I
awesome.
always say that.
But
so.
you're great, my little girl.
Thank you. Thank you, granddaughter. Okay.
Thank you, my daughter.
That's our thing.
She's my daughter.
Thank you, everybody. Tune in this time next week.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.